All right, we're here. We had a great party. We now have a fully vetted chief of police, and it was a great event, Jim. Things were all very positive. That's always nice to hear.
Thanks.
So welcome to your first meeting as the real chief. Thank you. All right, we can take a roll call for quorum.
Okay. Alderman Messer? Here. Alderman Rosenthal?
Here.
Alderman Dolick?
Here.
Alderman Ludwigson?
Here.
And I understand Alderman Williamson, by prior notices, may not be here tonight.
Right. So we have a quorum, we need 3, we have 4. So we have a quorum, we're ready to move on. We have a very special guest that's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And Laura, would you do that, please?
Sure.
You're sitting in a very important chair down there.
I am. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to be here. We're having a meeting on the 14th of January, 2019, in the hallowed halls of City Council in the city of Prospect Heights. So we can move on with the agenda. And where are we at?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We have the December 10th, 2018 City Council Workshop Meeting minutes up for approval. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, do we have a motion to pass the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, second, roll call.
Alderman Rosenthal?
Aye.
Alderman Dolick?
Aye.
Alderman Ludwigson?
Aye.
Alderman Messer?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
The next item on the agenda is under presentations. We have a commission report. Mr. Mayor, you wanted the boards and commissions to do a report at all our upcoming meetings. The next on the agenda is the Planning and Zoning Board of Appeals. And we have Chairperson Daniela Dash that's going to give the commission report.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. As you stated, my name is Danielle Dash, and I'm the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Board. And we meet on the fourth Thursday of every month, pending we have an agenda. Sometimes we skip meetings for holidays or months that we have off, but we do meet at 7 p.m. on the fourth Thursday of the month. Our agendas and minutes can be found on the city's website. The main focus of our committee is development applications, special use, and variance requests related to land use within the city. We also work with the City Council on matters relating to the city's comprehensive plan and existing city codes when warranted. And really our chief is Director Dan Peterson. He is an important part of the process. He works with the applicants as they work through the process with the city, helping them prepare their application. He presents us with staff reports and recommendations that we take into consideration on the evenings of our meetings. Currently, we don't have any vacant positions on our board, which is exciting. We just had an open position filled recently. We'll tell you that we have a really well-grounded group of commissioners. They have all different kinds of backgrounds that I believe make them uniquely qualified for the position. Their careers focus mainly on construction, planning, municipal service, engineering, site development. So again, we have a really broad group of commissioners with experience that has been very helpful as we review our cases. Recent cases of interest within the last year, we worked on the commercial vehicle parking and sign code text amendments. Most of the special use permits we saw pertain to sit-down restaurants, a new car wash, daycare center, and some other items regarding signage. I would say one of my goals for 2019 would be to have Dan Peterson provide us with updates at our Plan Commission meetings, because I feel like sometimes we make a recommendation to the City Council, but We don't necessarily know what transpired after we make that recommendation. We could certainly come to these meetings or go online and look at minutes, but I think having Director Peterson provide us with some insight might be something that I would maybe look forward to in the new year. And that's what I put together for this evening. So thank you for having me.
Good. Anyone, starting at my right, questions? Everyone can do it, by the way. You don't have to be an alderman. Are there any questions for Danielle Dash from the Planning and Zoning Committee? Yes, sir.
Just a comment, thank you for the report, I
You're welcome.
enjoyed it. And your suggestion about following up and tracking actions has merit, and it should be a relatively easy thing to do. And you know, when one takes action about something or a committee, as in your case, you want to know what happened, and you're perfectly right to request something like that.
Yeah.
It should be. I would suggest you make it as part of the agenda of your meeting. You start off with what a progress report. You know, it could be complete, in progress, hasn't started yet, scheduled, whatever the due date is for it. Great idea.
All
Thank
right,
you.
anyone else, please?
Good job.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, appointments, confirmations, and proclamations. We have none at this time. Next item is public concerns and comments. Do we have a resident comment there?
No agenda, we don't have it, this is only for agenda matters, and this one
Okay.
is not.
Next then is staff, elected official, and commission reports.
All right, well, again, I don't need to call out just the alderman. Let's just go down the line. Chief, why don't we start with you tonight?
All right. First of all, on Tuesday, January 8th, we hired three new officers. Well, we hired three new officers on January 7th. On January 8th, here at the council chambers, Mayor Helmer officiated swearing in the officers with Karen Schultes. We sent three of our newest officers. We have Officer Tyler Farina, who is the grandson of Dennis Farina, the actor, and ex-Chicago officer. So we're happy to have him on our force. Next officer is Officer Wilbur Blanco. He worked for District 23 for the past 6 years. And then our third officer is Dan Savas, who his father is a part-time officer on our department for several years. Those three guys left for the academy yesterday. They'll be down in Springfield for 14 weeks. Once they complete that, they'll come back here and they'll ride with field training officers for another 12 weeks. So hopefully by the first part of July is what I calculate, these guys will be out on their own. We had several officers. We interviewed 42 officers with the Fire and Police Commission, and I think we got the cream of the crop here out of these three. So just want to let you know that we got three guys waiting in the wings to make their way north. I wish it could be a lot faster than 14 weeks, but they'll get a good training down in Springfield. That's why we send them down there. So that's all I have.
So are you three short during this time?
Yeah.
Obviously, yes.
We're down three, but we're still operating. A lot of guys are doing double duty, but it's something that I feel confident we'll be able to handle it until they get ready. Streets, everything's covered the same. There's no change in the manpower on the streets.
Chief, anything coming up that we may need another officer or two for?
No, that's it for right now. I'd like to have 5 or 6 more if you guys give them to me. I can always use more guys, but no, when we're up to with the 3, we're sufficient, and that's it.
All right, thank you. Alderman Ludwigson?
I'd just like to congratulate the chief on his new appointment. He was appointed or sworn in today as the chief earlier today. So congratulations on that. And
Thank
to
you.
your deputy chief and the new sergeant. We're in good hands. It'll be, it's already, I think your transition's already done. You
Yeah.
probably don't think so, but
Yeah.
I feel like it is. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Great, thank you. Alderman Dolick?
I would just echo those same words. Congratulations to our new chief, and a lot of very kind, well-deserved words being spoken of a number of our departments, and it was very nice to hear. Well-deserved. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Rosenthal?
I'll add my congratulations to the chief
Thank you.
and to the sergeant as well, and to
the officers in training that will be coming onto our force. It's good to hear. I also want to express my extreme disappointment in the fact that the council had passed a motion at our last meeting to create an ad hoc committee dealing with the Willow Road project. It was specified, its composition was specified. There was recruitment activity. The administrator was directed to make recruitment activity on that, and it was, that item was supposed to be on the agenda for this meeting, and as I understand it, it was summarily pulled. That's extremely disappointing, particularly when the council at that time voted 4-1 to establish that committee and to move forward and get it moving. And that's all I have.
Well, that's interesting because you know Joe, our city administrator, is on a long-term vacation. He'll be back the 21st, though, so that's good news. The mayor appoints a committee. He has not submitted, we've talked about, but not submitted any names until he comes back. And Kevin, you were alerted and you thought it best to do what?
Mayor, that in fact was
You
not
don't have the
case.
floor, thank you. Go ahead.
May I have the floor?
No,
Why didn't you want to create this committee?
I didn't, it's not my job to create the committee, but that's not the discussion we're
Why
having.
wasn't it put on the agenda for the council then?
Oh, you want to answer that?
So just for a point of clarification, the practice that we have when we're creating a new committee is to, if a new committee is created, to have the members to serve on the committee selected so that they can be appointed when the new committee is created. Because we didn't have the members selected, that's why I didn't want to draft a resolution creating the committee, since it would be a phantom committee with no members. So that is the recommendation I gave to Peter, and I believe he passed on to the mayor. So once we get members selected, the resolution can be passed and the members appointed.
In point of fact, 3 of the 5 members of the committee were identified within the motion.
That is
The other
absolutely
2
not true.
All right, order, please.
In point of fact, 3 of the 5 members of the committee were identified. They were identified as the aldermen from the respective wards and the city administrator, and 2 people from the neighborhood which the city administrator was to recruit. And that was beginning of December. And I understand recruitment took place. There were some individuals identified, and yet it didn't go forward. If it's appropriate at this point in time, I would like to have I would like to make a motion that the committee, the agenda item that was taken off of the agenda for this meeting be placed on the agenda for the next meeting, and the committee be voted in with the names of the committee, and it be voted upon at the next meeting of the council.
Well, again, I defer to council, but this is not on the agenda to begin with. So,
Well, I'm making a motion now. It
thank
was
you,
supposed to be
I
on the
did hear
agenda.
you, thank you, so that I defer to council, as I said.
If it's a motion directing, that motion can proceed if it's directing a future agenda item.
So I'll second
All
that.
right, so we have a motion, we have a second.
Is that, Mr. Attorney, Kevin, I'll just call you. Is that by resolution or ordinance?
The ad hoc committees are created by resolution.
So no second reading required?
No second reading required,
Okay.
and we can do it, and I've spoken to Peter. We can move the appointments to after new business, so the resolution can be passed, and then we can have the appointments immediately thereafter at the same meeting. It can be done in one meeting, and it's not by ordinance.
All right, thank you, Deputy Clerk Schulteis.
Do we have to?
Wait a minute, you have a motion.
Yeah, just a voice vote is
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder, we now have a date for the community breakfast, which will be March 30th at Crown Plaza. I'll be sending out information, but just to save the date right now. And also, tomorrow, we will be sending in the names in the order on the ballot, so everybody, all of the people that are running that have submitted paperwork will be certified on the ballot.
All right, thank you. Do you have anything else?
I already congratulated those officers and the chief who were promoted today, so I have nothing else to add, sir.
Oh, thank you. City clerk?
I just want to echo everybody else's sentiments as well to congratulate Chief Zalaki and our deputy chief and our new sergeant. It was a wonderful ceremony, well attended, and just really a very great moment in time for Prospect Heights.
Good, thank you. Alderman Messer?
I'll just echo everyone else's congratulations to everyone in our police department, and I have no further report.
Building and zoning, Dan Peterson.
Yes, I have two quick items. The first is for mainly Alderman Messer. The final draft of the Plaza Drive agreements were delivered personally on Friday. We should be getting them back shortly. There were some couple minor tweaks that were worked out between both parties, so that moving forward. Secondly, at the November PZBA meeting, it was recommended that or it will be coming up in the January, the commercial project for the 10-acre Piper Lane. As part of that, it was suggested.
Can we have some order down there? We've got someone speaking, and it was his turn, as a matter of fact. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. On last Wednesday night, Connor Commercial, who's the contract purchaser of the city's 10 acres on Piper Lane, held a community open house meeting at the Quincy Park Homeowners Association complex. Residents from the association or complex could come up, and we had quite a few residents. Alderman Dolick was there, and the team from Connor highlighted the plans that will be presented to the PZBA later this month. A full application is on file if a resident would like to come in and take a look at that. It is available and will be put up on the website just prior to the PZBA meeting. The meeting was, the comments were all very positive, and it was well done, and appreciated, the residents appreciated Connor for taking the time to come out and meet with them and come to their homes, basically to explain what their new name would be.
That's good. Did you have a lot of people there?
Not as many as hoped, about a dozen. The weather was very bad that night. We had rain and snow, or rain and cold and windy, and so not as many people showed up. But those that were there were very appreciative and very complimentary of the design and the project. And I think the biggest tone I heard, and maybe Alderman Dolick could echo this, is that they were just very grateful that Connor took the time to reach out to them to hear what they had, to present to them and hear what they had to say.
If I could just add, I completely agree. The comments that I received that evening, as well as since that time, people were very appreciative of the representatives from Connor to come out and host that open house. Not every company will do that, but they were very hospitable and very informative, answering people's questions. So people from Quincy Park were very grateful for that.
All right, thank you. Mark Roscoe, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of quick things. First, Jim, Mark, Jesus, congratulations to you gentlemen. You make everyone in the city feel much more comfortable every night. On the public works side, sewer televising that we've started this last fall is not finished yet. Our contractor, American Underground, is still working. A few more weeks left at most. They're doing 23 miles or so of sewer televising and light cleaning this year, so there's a lot to do. So for residents, if you still see the trucks out front, the American Underground vehicles, guys working in the yard, knocking on your doors, letting them know that they let you know they'll be in the backyard. Just kind of a heads up as to they're still working. And driving caution and care. Unfortunately, this season, there's a few public works agencies, villages around us that have had injuries or accidents with public workers. There's a bad one just last Friday. So as residents and all of us, when we drive, heed the warning, the yellow amber lights and flashing white lights. Take a little extra care, slow down a little bit. These guys are out there working, they're putting themselves in the elements. It's a profession that they chose, but try to give them a little space. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Laura, do you have anything to add?
I just want to echo what everybody else has said. Our congratulations to the new chief, the new deputy chief, the new sergeant, and the new officers. Other than that, finance has nothing to report.
Thank you. All right, moving forward.
The next item on the agenda, discussion topics for workshop meetings. We have actually exhausted, I'm sorry. The next item on the agenda is discussion topics for workshop meeting. We actually have exhausted all our prior topics, so there's nothing new for this workshop meeting, but we'd be more than happy to entertain any ideas for future workshop meeting items.
All right, thank you.
Next is consent agenda, and there are no items on the consent agenda for tonight. Same for old business. There are no items on old business.
It skipped?
Next is new business. There are no items on new business. I don't think we'll ever see this again, but we'll enjoy it while we can.
In our lifetime, right?
Next item, which we do have to take action on, is approval of warrants.
Okay, so payments for this period, we have a total of 160, for this period of time is 169,543.01. The January 4th, 2019 payroll posting in the amount of $144,673.79. December Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund in the amount of $18,851.43. Total warrants of $333,068.23.
Motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Alderman Ludwigson?
Aye.
Alderman Dolick?
Aye.
Alderman Rosenthal?
Aye.
Alderman Messer?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Next item on the agenda are public comments, and I do believe we have at least one.
We have one, yes. A Bob?
Mr. Bob Zeeler?
Yes.
Or Zier?
Yes, Bob Zier, 104 East Kenilworth. My comment is that of this car wash that's coming in. I just learned that it's going to use well water. And I'd like to have some knowledge about it, and I don't. And that's why I came here to ask the questions. Now, I don't know how much water they're going to use, if they're going to use well water, how many gallons a day are they going to use. I know when they did the nursing home over there, I had some problems. My water got very, very dirty and dark and black. And Nick and I had the conversation when that was happening, and he said, "Oh, it's got to be yours. It can't be us." Well, I called Schnelton, the well digger, and he came out and took a look at it, and he said, first thing he asked, "Is anybody digging a well around here?" I said, "No, not right here on my block." He said, "Anywhere around there?" I said, "Yes, the nursing home." He said, "That's your problem. They disrupted it, and I got this very, very bad case of sediment in my well water." He came out, flushed it all out, and then about a month later, I was okay. So anybody who is impacted by this car wash thing, be prepared. You might have bad water for a while. And will it affect the aquifer? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. But eventually, if they're tapping how much water out of the aquifer, it's got to have an effect on everybody else. We know in SSA 6, there were homes over there, their wells went dry. And there's no car wash over there. So I just have a concern, and I want to enlighten people to know that things could happen. I don't know if it will, but it may. I just want to make it apparent that if they start drilling, you might have very, very bad water for a while. And how much water they're going to use, I don't know. I don't know if they had an environmental impact study on this or not. I don't know if they had an impact study on Rand Road where the cars would have to go in and out to the car wash. If they had an environmental thing for the wastewater from the place or whatever. I don't know any of those things. That's what I wanted to bring up to the council today.
All right, Bob, normally when people come up to speak, we let them present their thoughts, and we get back to them at another time.
Okay.
However, at this point, since we are almost done with our meeting, which is very unusual, maybe Dan Peterson can help us out a little bit.
I spoke briefly with Mr. Zaire. I gave him my card. Some of the information he asked I did not have available with me tonight. Additionally, the car wash is in design engineering right now, and we will be getting their data, and we will be reviewing it and counter-checking it to make sure that it meets all the EPA standards and the requirements for that well. So I will stay in contact with Mr. Zaire about what's going forward, and when we get that information, we'll share it with him.
Hey, thank you.
I think
very
it'd be
much.
nice if you keep track of that, because you're not the only one that's going to ask this question. A lot of people have no idea because they don't either get our emails or our e-news or don't read much in the paper, et cetera, and all of a sudden there's going to be a car wash started. So I'd like to avoid it at least somewhat by a position paper or an explanation paper, Dan, that is ready to go out at all times. And I think we can keep publishing this in our e-news, right?
Correct.
Peter takes care of the e-news and he'll get the word out.
Okay.
I'm as concerned as you are, and I'm sure the council is as concerned as you are. We don't want to disrupt the water situation for other people. Luckily, we're in a non-residential area, generally speaking, but it could be a problem. And rather than waiting for it to happen, let's make sure, and they will, that the PZB, they will make sure that they get all the answers, if not the solutions, immediately. All right, I'm over there too. I don't want dirty water.
You might have dirty water for a while.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. They have to clean out the pipes. I mean, that's the process, no matter where you
It
dig.
impacts water usage, the water table. It depends how much they're taking out every.
Right, and that's something that the PZBA will research and probably do a good job. So,
Well, until we get a municipal water system, we're going to have those problems.
we have a blank check. It's $50 million. Will you sign it?
Yes, I will.
For $2, right? Thank you, Bud.
Okay, thank you.
Kind of you to come out.
Are there any other resident comments? Seeing none. Next would be executive session, that I do not believe we have an executive session. And last, at the record 33 minutes, adjournment. You guys did this on purpose with me being acting administrator. I know you guys did that. Thank you very much.
Chasing you out.
Absolutely.
All in
Motion to
favor
adjourn.
Are we in favor to adjourn? Say aye.
Aye.
Amen, brothers and sisters. Thank you.